It's good to see you this evening.
Hello, good evening, Casey. Okay, so I believe Casey is having some network issues, but hopefully it's resolved. Is having a bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to run from here. And so I'm just going to say welcome to another episode of The Connect. While we, wait for Casey to sort of join us, I think it's imperative that we understand that this is the first Sunday in the month, and it is always such a beautiful time when you get to see some first. And in a lot of churches, in my church in particular, today was Thanksgiving service. People got to dance, people got to be excited about a lot of things. And what I'm particularly thankful for is my opportunity to be here today and be able to share in this wonderful experience. Because today we're going to be having amazing people. We're going to be having JIMI TEWE, and it's going to be a mind-blowing session as expected. I know that AU will be joining us eventually if he can. Understand that he is otherwise engaged, but today promises to be very, very exciting. But to share a bit of a backstory, it's that Casey I see joining us. Casey, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry for the break in transmission. You can go ahead, though.
And
Go ahead.
I understand it's
Yeah,
Nigeria we're in. So
you
yeah,
know how it
Casey,
is. Yeah,
I was basically telling them about how first are today being a first Sunday in my church in particularly. We make it a Thanksgiving Sunday as a lot of
right.
churches in Nigeria. And so
Yeah,
dancing, giving thanks for a lot of things. I said I'm most thankful for being able to interact with some of the minds that have come through the Connect series. And today we're going to have JIMI TEWE. I mean, how exciting is that for you?
greatly, as in superly excited, bro.
I can
Because
imagine.
yeah, Jimmy is one of the men, one of the faces, one of the names that we look up to, and we
Yeah,
look
of
forward to
course.
being someday. So this platform has brought that opportunity for us to hear and also get fed
Sure.
from, yeah, get fed from his wealth of wisdom and experience, which we do not take for granted. So I'm
Of
grateful for that. I'm
course. Of
thankful
course.
that this is happening today, right? This is happening today.
Yeah.
So it's a big day for me. I don't know about you, but it's a massive big day for me, right? Yeah, so
Mm,
that's what it is. Yeah.
yeah. And I was told that we're
Mm.
going to have our appetites whet a bit.
Right.
We're going to be having Victor Tafa as well.
Yeah.
And having a double header like this is I mean, my blood's
My
already
only.
hot. It's
Uh,
see
yeah, I
how
said
I've been
mind
grinning.
boggling. Yeah.
I've been grinning from ear to ear. Okay, so last week, AU grilled me and had me share, what public speaking was to me and my experience. So,
Right.
Casey, I want to hear your story. Let's do this. Public speaking for you. What is this to you? Let us hear it. Let's hear a bit of the story. Real quick before we jump
Yeah,
into
for
it.
me, it's yeah. So essentially, for me, it is it's an opportunity to go ahead. It's an opportunity to lend my voice to some of the thoughts that come through, some of the thoughts that God puts into, my mind. The only way you can execute is by speaking, right? So,
Right.
for me, that is an opportunity to go ahead, to lend my voice to the world, to lend my voice to the society, and see how we can
Right.
change the narrative. It's a great experience because, public speaking, we try to engage with different kinds of people, and also
Yeah.
try to see how we can, change or shift the narrative. Because we live in times where a lot of wrong things are trending, right? A lot of
Right, right,
yeah, a lot of wrong things are trending, and a lot of folks don't know how to go ahead to do stuff properly, right? So I think that public speaking is an avenue. It's a vehicle, to make the world better. It's a vehicle to change lives, to impact lives, to bring something positive to the table, right? Once you are
mm,
saying the right thing, once you have content, once you have something that you have, thought about, grilled and all that, and, prepared very well. So that's what it is to me. And for me, I'm super excited that I am a public speaker. I'm super, super excited that, God has given me these gifts, to
right.
share with the world, right? So that's what it is for me. Thank you
The
for that
excitement,
opportunity.
the excitement in your voice tells everything I need to hear. And
Yeah.
that's what they say. When you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life. So it's not work for you, basically.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just you enacting your talent. And it is so
Yeah.
beautiful
What?
to see.
Yeah. Just to add to what you're saying, so these are the things. This is something that comes freely for me.
Right.
I don't exactly need to rehearse. You know how you're going to work sometimes. You're like, okay, what's
And
gonna
then you
happen? How
have
is this gonna
to,
end? Yeah, you
yeah,
prepare, you do this. But for me, anything that has to do with public speaking, I just get out there.
comes quite naturally. You
I
could
just
jump out of bed and you're
right on
there.
the go. On the go, on the go. Once I have that
No,
microphone, I just start to speak and we're good. Right.
and that's the most beautiful part of it. And the fact that we're not restricted in this field. And I remember you and I talking with Nancy last week, and we talked about one vision, several assignments, and it could be anything when it's public speaking.
Right,
It
right,
could it could
right,
be
right.
it could be as simple as being a master of a ceremony at at the smallest of events, but it could also be a keynote speech in front of
Right,
thousands of people. So we let it flow. We don't restrict it. We don't try to put it in a box. We let it
yeah,
go where it will take us. We let it flow. We let it happen, and that's the most beautiful part because you don't get to define what the assignments are, but you know what the vision is. Like for you now, you
right,
understand that it's a platform for you to be able to make the necessary positive change. You
right.
know, and that's the most beautiful part. And I think that's the one that's most
Absolutely.
exciting for me from our
Yeah,
guests, trying to hear what their assignments are now. I want to pick their minds. I want to hear a bit about what they're looking forward to, especially this year. Last week we talked about the future of public speaking. So I want to see
yeah,
how they've been able to adapt because we're already in the future of public speaking in my head. It has diversified over the past year or two, considering the fact that there were not a lot of public events that required public speaking. So there's a lot of adapting that has been done. There's a lot of movement in the general scope of things. But
yeah.
yes, so there now has to be some sort of shift. And when I look at it, we're already being prepped for what the future of public speaking should look like. So Casey, I'm gonna let you now give it to them and tell them who we have in the studio today and what we're
Right.
expecting. What are we expecting today?
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, drum rolls first. Drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls. Um, yeah. So today we're expecting one of Nigeria's finest. You're right. Nigeria's finest, one of Africa's finest, one
Wow.
who, yeah, who has been used by God in different levels, to define the scope of public speaking. Right. We
Right.
are blessed to have him in our midst this evening. Right. So
Right.
without wasting time, I'll just roll out a few. No. Good evening, sir. Please, can we celebrate the presence of Mr. JIMI TEWE? Good evening, boss. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Good to see
Good
you. All
evening.
right.
Welcome, sir.
Before you come on board. So, our guest this evening is fondly called Olu JIMI TEWE. aka Jimmy TEWE. He is a human capacity development expert with almost 2 decades of experience garnered in HR consulting. He is HR consultant, and we also have he's been senior, um, been in position of senior HR management position. He's an executive coach. He provides bespoke learning interventions to organizations in varied industries. He is an internationally sought after speaker, just like I mentioned to you, who has graced several platforms within and outside Nigeria, including the Harvard Business School, Boston, USA. He has been recognized as one of the 100 most influential Nigerians and has won several awards for his work done in personal development space. The list is endless. So let me just jump to this one. He's an inspirational speaker. Jimmy speaks to individuals at events and corporate interventions on several insightful topics which inform and inspire them at the same time. Some of his clients include NTN, Access Bank, GTB, Friesland, Capina, and IHS. The list is endless. Jimmy Tewe has also pioneered several events that have grown over the years. The National Youth Entrepreneurship Summit, held in partnership with the Office of the Secretary to the Federal Government, the CEO Masterclass, the Seven Star Worker Conference, etc. As a coach, Jimmy is a member of American Association of Career Coaches, and his strong passion for seeing emerging careers and businesses grow into institutions has resulted in him coaching young CEOs and working professionals towards achieving and even surpassing their goals. In addition to coaching individuals, Jimmy has also been involved with designing career coaching interventions for corporate clients. Ladies and gentlemen, the list is endless. I can go on and on, but without further ado and without a lot of talk, please make welcome the Jimmy Tewe of our time. Please, a round of applause for him as he takes the center
stage. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated. Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So you have the floor now, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
Great. So
how are you doing today?
Fine. I'm looking forward to the conversation with you. I think I got in a bit earlier where you thought you were having a conversation, and I liked the flow of what I was hearing and all that. But one more time, congratulations to AU on this public speaking journey. You know, not many people begin it, but he's been around for a number of years now. So congratulations to him. And unlike for many of you, AU has been doing public speaking since secondary school.
Right. You guys are classmates.
Yeah, we're classmates. So I can vaguely remember sometimes when God, public speaking has been in the public and speaking. So we can say started, quite a bit and all that, but
quite a while.
And all that. So yeah, so let's talk. What are we talking about today?
Okay, let's jump at it. Okay, David, you can go ahead, David.
No,
David,
Casey, I just wanted to fangirl a bit, Mr. Jimmy. It is such a pleasure to have you. And I know we have very limited time, but please be prepared. We have a lot of questions we're going to bombard. We may not be able to get everything out during the session, but expect us after. So, Casey, over to you. Just kick it off, and then I'll come after.
Okay, great. So, Mr. Jimmy, the first question for me would be, how did you find yourself in this space? To everyone who is out there listening, how did you get yourself involved? How did you find yourself here, where you are now, which is a master public speaker? Yeah.
Well, this is a 42-year journey, so, but I can only summarize it by saying talking about how did I discover myself. Because if you ask Ania when we were in secondary school, whether Jimmy will ever become a public speaker.
What school was that, please? What school was that, please?
International School in Ibadan. That's where. So, because of our surnames, so everybody was arranged based on their surnames. I'm T, he's U. So he was right after me, So I sat in front, he sat behind me, right beside. That's where he would usually sit, and all that. their results. So yeah, I wasn't really very vocal, growing up and all that. And I think that my discovery happened, well, it happened in church, funny enough. It was about my pastor asking me to take announcements in church. And I ran away from the idea, not even from the opportunity, the idea, but he insisted that I do it. And I messed up, but I kept going. And somehow I began to get a bit more confident about it. And then we started doing speaking of events in secondary schools, not too far from the church. Then, of course, being in the church setting is almost like doing public speaking every week. And I just began to grow, in that way. By coming to Lagos in 2002 for my NYSC, I went more into consulting. So for a number of years, that was what I was focused on. But I guess it just never left me. And even though I rose in the banking sector and I became a senior manager very early, it was still in my heart to be involved in public speaking. So in 2008, I made up my mind, but in 2010, I made the move. And from that time, so 2011 to date, I have been doing this more with more of my time than even any other thing. So that, in a way, is a summary of my journey so far.
So what can you tell us? Has it been an exciting journey? Are you happy you took that decision? Are you happy you are where you are today in life? Are there any regrets? Do you hit your chest and say, Jimmy, that was great?
For sure. I mean, I'm clearly enjoying myself. Would I want to be ahead? Obviously, everybody wants to be ahead, but I'm grateful for how far I've come. I don't have regrets. One of the things that I value in life is that let me say it in bad English so you get understand it in good English. I don't not do what I want to do. Let me say it again. I don't not do what I want to do, meaning that I will do what I want to do. And so I don't have regrets as it were. That's the summary of what I was saying. So that the things I've not done is either because maybe it will impact other people, but when I want something, I go for it. My own personal belief is that I have only one life to live here on this side of eternity, as it were, on this face. I think some people have 9 lives. So they live, they can procrastinate, they can choose not to do what they want to do, they can be sentimental and allow other people direct their lives. But I have only one life, so I can't afford not to do what I want to do. So I don't have regrets as such. I think the only regrets will be, I wish I'd learned some things earlier. I would have been a lot way ahead. But I think it happens to even the best person can always be better, and all those kind of things. So I've come to terms with that. I'm good with that. And I'm just living every day as best as I can. So that's where I am. I'm happy and fulfilled doing what I'm doing, but there's so much more to be done.
Great. Fulfillment for me is the word I'll pick from what you have said. Because there are lots of folks who are at this stage of your life, and they might not, or most of them are not finding fulfillment in what they're doing, and it leaves them somehow unhappy, right? So for me now, I've followed you for a while now, for years. Matter of fact, I was invited to one of your programs in Abuja by AU himself, the one we held in NAF some time ago, something like Career Shift or so. So I listened, Career Shift, 2015, So I listened attentively, and you spoke in that meeting about how you had to leave the banking sector. I currently am in the banking sector currently, and I've had lots of fears. As much as we know, or I feel that this is what I am called to do, or I have strong passion for this, there's this fear. So please, can you tell us how you conquered the fears? So, because I'm putting myself in your shoes. A certain age you were, I can't remember, but you talked about your age in that meeting. Manager, XYZ Bank, with everything going, living in the best side of town, and you just close that chapter of your life, without being sure of what it is you were going to face, how you're going to pay school fees, how you're going to live the kind of life that you wanted to live. Because of course, for where you are, you would have been saying that kind of thing. So what was the thing that gave you that courage to press on to that person and that place that you wanted to be? Thank you.
All right. I mean, I've had to go over this sometimes, and I always like, thinking back about it. The thing that makes a person give up comfort, give up. I mean, because I became a senior manager at the age of 29. I was earning almost 1 million naira per month. You know,
That's about 15
I
years
had a
ago.
house mortgage. And I was paying 4% per annum on my mortgage in Nigeria at that time. And it was probably just a regular person that want much out of life. The certain seeds had been sown in my heart quite early that life was a whole comfort. Now, while comfort is not bad in itself, but that there's a lot more to life than comfort. And being in the banking industry, I met a lot of people who were not comfortable in comfort. So what I mean by that is that for other people,
I can
I'm sure you know
relate.
what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can relate. So they're in comfort, but they're not comfortable. And I met them, and they'll say things like, I'm not happy. And I'm like, why don't you do something about it? But they never really did that. And I was happy initially till I got to my own moments where I was desiring a lot more than where I was. What helped me, a few things. I believe consciousness of faith and my connection to God was a primary anchor. Knowing that, that God has got me and that God has a plan for my life. And I tell people that it's easy to say that, but it is easier to believe when you have had prior experiences with God. It's easier to trust God when you have experienced Him. All right. And that had happened to me. So I could put my confidence a lot in Him. Though I still had my fears, I still had my doubts. The other thing that was there is that people say, oh, you said something about having lots of questions. What I did was I was seeking for answers to those questions. People will say things like, oh, I don't know how to pay my children's school fees. That is it. There are two ways to ask that question. I don't know how to pay my children's school fees, or I don't know how to pay my children's school fees. How will I pay my children's school fees? So I went to the other one. I started making an inquiry because you see, with insight, there's confidence also. When you know the way, when somebody tells you turn left, turn right, you'll be moving ahead confidently. And so I got answers, so information helped me. The last one thing that helped me, I think, was my association. Even while I was in banking, I began to move with people that were in the space that I wanted to get to. So it was not unfamiliar to me to sit down in an event and there's a fella Rotary there, there's several people near this one there, and I can see the response, I can see the value that these people place on what these guys are doing. And many times I'll be in those meetings and have my own epiphany and see myself being the one in front, being hailed. People are responding to me, and I preferred that life than the one I had. And then to crown it all was that in my intimate moments with them, they would open up and tell me about their many exploits and things they had done, particularly in the financial space. And I'm like, what? You did this doing what you love to do? So when I looked at that, I just said to myself, you know what? You only live once. Some people say it's this way. Something must kill a man. Well, you're going to have to pass on one day.
YOLO.
Not about it.
Yeah.
But I want to choose my life. And I think that is the gap. A lot of people have hidden limiting beliefs, hidden fears that have become mental blocks, such that even when they know they want something, they find themselves not able to do it. Unfortunately or fortunately, I wasn't and I've not been in that space. I can, if I have to, I can leave what I'm doing now to start something again. That's just the way that I'm built, maybe. Or it's my programming, my upbringing, and all that. And I realize it's a major characteristic of people that advance a lot. They are able to scale into new things. So a lot of people, comfort can be dangerous. And initially comfort will be comfortable, but after a while, there's no comfort in it. But you start comparing your comfort with other people. Well, I'm better off. No. My mission is all about being better off than others. My competition is with myself. I can be better. My big deal right now is that I'm grateful that on the national scale, I'm able to do some things that have a bit of recognition and reward. But what about the world? It's a global scale now. There are things that I want to do. So I'm going to America, I'm going to the United Kingdom, I'm going to Canada. There are people that need my message. You know, I was hearing you guys talk earlier about the future of public speaking, and you know, I mean, with technology, almost half of the people that engage with me online are from the diaspora or other cultures outside of the country. So that
Right.
means that what I have is valuable in those spaces. Why must I die a local champion when I could be the light of the world? So those were the motivations for me, you know, and I knew there'll be a tough journey along the way, but I'm used to tough journeys. I understand that sacrifices always precede glory. That's for me, it's not a big deal. So once the glory is confirmed, and the sacrifice is little, eventually, you know, and I ask God for strength and help. And I mean, did I have moments of being discouraged in the process? Oh, sure, you're going to have those things. Did I have moments where I was like, could there have been an easier way? Sure. But I knew that I didn't want any other way. This was what I wanted, and this was what I was going to get. So that, in a summary, is what has helped me, you know, the consciousness of my faith in God, the information that I got, and the association also helped me too.
Okay.
This is mind blowing. Lots of stuff. David,
It's
I see you're
honestly
itching to say a lot of stuff. All right, you have the floor.
my head is spinning. I had questions already, and he has compounded those questions. But I think I'm just going to pick on a couple of things you said, and then we'll just go into it. You've talked about leaving your comfort zone, and you've talked about it twice. Now, first of all, you talked about when you left the banking sector, 29-year-old, and we talk about 30 being a very defining age for us as human beings. As a Christian,
Yes.
you understand that 30 is when Jesus started his ministry. 30 is always a very defining age. It's a very scary age to come into for a lot of people. Now,
Yeah.
you now made a decision at the 11th hour, before you turned a very tricky age, to shift from comfort, right? And
Yeah.
then now you're not talking about, and that you mentioned that it's your nature, and now you're talking about moving onto a global scale, because
had found a field and saw a pearl in the field and sold all he had. You know, that's the same principle. When you discover something more than where you are, normally you want to go for it. So it is
Right.
what makes people stagnant.
Had to leave. Do you think your messages and your need was tailored by these two defining experiences for you?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
no doubt,
no doubt.
if your experiences help you to understand life. And you see, they call it aspire to perspire. Remember, you know, that's the people say, ah, this Mozart. In fact, till today, they call all of us Mozart. They say we are aspire to perspire. Where did that come from? It came from a generation of people that had no process and were just duplicating what they were hearing. So you hear things like, according to Les Brown, according to and so the concept of public speaking was about quotations. Unfortunately, people might get excited about that initially, but what people are looking for is, and the fact about it is that yes, you can say what Brian Tracy said, what Robert Kiyosaki said, what Les Brown said, what Miles Monroe said. The question is, what are you saying? And what you are saying will come out of your understanding, your experiences, what you have mastered more than ever before. So I believe that everybody's process, if they stick with it, are willing to learn along the journey and all that, eventually they get to a point where they can understand why they went through what they went through. Today, I talk a lot about finances. And I'll be honest with you, in my initial years, even after leaving banking, I struggled in the financial space personally. Not that I didn't make money at all, but it wasn't commensurate. Or teach, because I have gone through that experience, I can be relatable. Every speaker, you are just learning from the experience, not just going through it. And I think that a lot of that has for you to be speaker, you must conquer a global, author because I've not converted my books into other languages. When I begin to do that, and I begin to make impact, as simple as that is, do you know I can do that next week? All I need to pay is people that will convert to French, to Spanish, to Italian, and all that, and I will become really more of a global. So it's a position for global. But I didn't think about that before. So, but now I'm aware of it, and I tell people that one of the things you must never do is, we say to people, don't settle. But the way not to settle is to become aware of a possibility. Allow me, thank God today is on Sunday. There's a parable of a man that found a field and saw a pearl in the field and sold all he had. That is the same principle. When you discover something more than where you are, normally you want to move for it. So it is what makes people stagnant is just lack of desire, lack of exposure, contentment with nothing. I mean, grateful for what they have, but unaware that there's so much more that is out there. All right. So I'm starting a tour in the United States of America from next month, 22 cities in 3 years. Why? But I know that for you to do well globally as a public speaker, you must conquer America. Forget about it. There's no other way around it. Go and check every very notable public speaker that we are celebrating internationally. 99% of them are from, they went through America. So what does that mean? It just means I'm going to have to go. So I've studied the field. I'm going now. But that means I'll be flying a lot. I'll be in and out of the country and all that. Now it's comfortable for me to sit down before me. Yeah, I've arrived. I've not arrived. I'm on my journey. We spoke about being on the mission. That is for me, my life didn't have relevance until, well, I think the core pivotal moment was 2001 when I had an encounter with God and I became aware that I was a messenger with a message. All right. My life radically changed from that moment. So I'm 42 now. I'm going to leave practice and hang around. Do you get my point? But at 50, you spoke about significance of ages. 30, Joseph as my Pharaoh, David the king. Jesus was,
just started his ministry.
At 50, you are meant to be moving into where you are having songs, you are a platform for others. So I should not be opening laptop with typing proposal at 50. No, my sons should be able to do that. When I say sons, I'm not talking about people that I'm going to launch over, people that I'm going to help them to become, or somebody help me to become. Do you get my point? So technically, I have 8 years before that phase. By 50, I can probably get more involved in national matters where Nigeria is concerned. I can't do that right now. Do you get my point? Effectively, so by the time you're 50, I'm on the board of 20 organizations and I have shareholding at least 10 of them, and they have made global businesses and all that. I'm not thinking about money now. I'm not thinking about what to eat. I can actually say, I want to serve my fatherland. Why is it that people, when they get into government, they change? Because they have never seen money. When you have money, your mindset is different. As it were. So the kind of view or the plan, and this kind of things come, of course, with your walk with God. It shows you images and experiences of your future that will compel you to live. One of the scriptures I read one day that never will leave my mind is in Job 13, verse 1. It says, Job was old and stricken in age, and God said to him, there is still more land to conquer. Can you imagine Job? Oh, stricken. Yes. God came was blind. I said, "There's more." So I'm still young. There's still more to be done. So I can't be comfortable. Comfort belongs to those that are not hungry, and I'm not that way.
Okay, that sounds like something straight out.
That is the for me. My life didn't have relevance. Until well, I think
Let's see.
All right, great. I think we're good now. All right, so